my name is Sive and welcome to my booktube channel, Stories in Sive. I have another challenge video for you guys. I am going to be doing the 24-hour timer challenge. We are going to be starting a 24-hour timer and seeing how many pages, how many books I can read within a 24-hour period. This is going to be starting and stopping when I am reading only. So this is not a 24-hour challenge like I have done in the past. But I'm really excited to see how this goes for me and see how many pages I am able to get read. We are starting at the beginning of a work week and we'll see how many days it takes me to read for 24 hours. So wish me luck and I hope you enjoy the video. Hi, I am joining you from late on Monday night. I am about to head to bed and I wanted to tell you how much I read. In total for Monday, I read, for doing math, 5 hours and 45 minutes. I have 18 hours and 15 minutes left on my timer for this week. I did know I wanted to go hard on this first day just because I had an easier day, like less going on. I finished a book. I finished Interesting Facts About Space earlier today. I'm giving it 4 stars, I'm pretty sure, but let me sit on my thoughts and tell you more about it maybe like towards the end of this video. I finished the last like 50 or so pages early this morning of Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. That was an audiobook I was listening to. It was a competition-based thriller. It's YA. It was really fun, bit more plot heavy, and I think it did attempt some character development, but personally I didn't feel as connected to that as I did to the plot. Ultimately, I'm just excited to tell you guys about the 2 books that now I am currently reading because I finished those 2. First is going to be Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I was like halfway reading and halfway listening to the first little bit of this book. I am on page 99. Sorry, I did not realize that I'd read 100 pages of this today. That's crazy. So this is technically my audiobook read, but sometimes, and especially with fantasy, if I have the physical book, I'll make a point to immersion read the first little bit. Normally I'm thinking like 30 to 50 pages. I did immersion read most of what you see here. And now I feel pretty well grounded in the story in order to like proceed with the audiobook on its own. Sometimes, and especially with fantasy, I feel like I will miss important factors in the story or important distinctions between POVs or things like the location on the maps, especially with a book like this that's more political, if I start out with the audiobook. Anyways, all that to say, I did a good amount of listening to this. I definitely 100% gonna finish this book. I loved the start of it. I really like the characters that it's following. And then, so there's 2 characters that you're following, and then like 70 pages in. So like we're good, like we're sorry, I'm just really excited. We're pretty grounded with these 2 characters. We've been with them for 70 pages, and then she just throws in a 3rd POV. Intriguing! What I like about this so far is the clear magic system and the fact that it's probably going to be pretty political. When I talked about this book in my like final TBR video, I said that it did remind me, just synopsis-wise, of the David Vaughn trilogy, and so far that is upholding for me. So I think I am gonna finish this week. And the next book I will tell you about is gonna be my next physical read, The Long Game by Elena Armas. I've never read from this author before, and I'd actually hadn't heard of this book until I found it at my secondhand bookstore. I picked it up because synopsis-wise, it reminds me of Ted Lasso. This girl who works for Miami FC is sent as punishment for something that happened to a small town in North Carolina to work as a general manager for a dying soccer club. Turns out it's a U10 girls soccer club and she's way out of her depths, and it's a romance. I'm really excited about this one. I was able to really lock in on this tonight. I got 50 pages through this book. That's just within the last like hour or so, so I'm pretty impressed with that. These will be the 2 books that I bring into my day tomorrow. I don't expect that I'm going to read almost 6 hours tomorrow. I think it would be amazing if I even read 3, because tomorrow is going to be a more busy day for me. I hope you all are well and happy reading. We are definitely getting into this 24-hour timer challenge, and we are already down to the teens, which is a win. It's the next day. We are at the end of Tuesday, and I'm really sorry if you can hear the dishwasher going in the background. I have to do this. And I also have to run my dishwasher. So I think yesterday I said that I would be really impressed with myself if I did 3 hours. I did not do 3 hours, but I did do 2.5. So now we have made it to under 16 hours in 2 days. I also know that Tuesdays are pretty much always my busiest days, and I don't have any plans tomorrow night. So the majority of the reading that I've done is with The Stardust Thief. I am still really enjoying this book. The plot has definitely picked up a lot. Jinn magic and relics that are imbued with Jinn magic is one of the huge conflict plot points. So we're following our main character Luli, and her nickname is the Midnight Merchant because she's essentially this anonymous dealer of stolen and secret magic. Her job, her business is illegal. And she's a super neat character, but she gets herself in this situation where the Sultan looks at her as a potential solution to a problem that he has. And so she has to go on this journey, this quest. And we're in the thick of the quest now. So they've done the first little bit of travel. She is with 2 people who also have POVs. And I'm going to give you no other plot information than that because finding out who these people are was a really fun reveal for me. So I want to keep it that way for you. That's really most of what I've been reading today, is just listening to that audiobook. I am at page 210 out of 460. And then I did also read 20 pages of The Long Game, but not too much has happened in that book. So I'm just going to wait till I get a little bit further before giving you an update. That is all I have for you. I do have some work to put in tomorrow as far as hours go for this 24-hour timer. But like I said, I do have a little bit more flexibility as far as my own schedule tomorrow. Hope you are doing well and having a great week. Good morning. It's Thursday morning, and I did not get the opportunity to update you yesterday, so I want to tell you all of the hours that I read yesterday. My stopwatch is at 14 hours and 19 minutes. I had started a stopwatch and a timer because I knew one of them would get deleted or get cleared. I just knew that was gonna happen, and I was right. My timer, I accidentally exited out or something. So I have a little bit less than 10 hours to read now, which is exciting. What I read yesterday was a lot of The Stardust Thief. I took the dust jacket off. I'm still really enjoying this. I am about 3/4 of the way through. I'd love to finish this book as part of this challenge. So much is happening. Our main character Luli and the prince are running into, as is in these political fantasies, an element of the magic that they're trying to search for that I guess implies a much bigger betrayal from somebody else. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I can definitely see myself finishing this. I will probably continue with the series unless something about the last 100 pages really changes my mind. Then last night, I ever so briefly picked up The Long Game. I think I maybe read 10 pages. It just wasn't grabbing me because I was thinking about my other audiobook read. I just really on a whim, because Libby had it for me ready, picked up Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and you will see there I'm 52% of the way through that audiobook. I listened to so much of this yesterday. It's probably the majority of the hours that I was reading. I gave Bride a very unexpected 5 stars. I love romance, but I wouldn't say that it's something I do a lot of research for or really pay attention to in the way that I pick books like I do for fantasy or horror. They're very much vibes, and they come into my life when they're popular, or I'm in the mood for a romance and this is what's available on Libby. I just let them come to me rather than curating like I do in other genres, if that makes sense. Anyways, Bride, I absolutely loved it. It's a paranormal romance, and just the vampires and werewolves subgenre of romance I don't think I'd tried before. I mean, werewolves and vampires and fantasy, yes, all day. And I know that I like Ali Hazelwood's writing because I've read her contemporary romances, so it was just a perfect fit. It also might have been right time, right book, but I now am thinking, because of how much I am loving Mate, that it's not right time, right book. Like, this is just a good book. I really, I guess, connect with this series. We follow Selena, and she is one of their society's first hybrids, so she is half human, half werewolf. Up until her, like, people didn't know that that was a thing that could happen. Like, a lot of eyes are on her, and there's a lot of actual, like, political implications of werewolves and humans being able to produce offspring. We have the main characters from Bride. They are part of a pack who is politically aligned with the male main character, the love interest, and I'm forgetting his name. It starts with a C. Cohen. Okay, well, it starts with a K. I've been listening to it. Cohen. Cohen is a really take me or leave me type of person. He's very rigid and stubborn and not interested in catering to other people's sensibilities. He's a very, like, tell it as it is person. He's the alpha of, like, his territory and has been, like, since he was 15. There's a lot of, like, really interesting character development and, like, character dynamics here. And the romance is, so far, there is none. They're definitely, like, interacting a lot because she's under Cohen's protection, but halfway through the book, and he's made it very clear, like, he's not interested, but they're gravitating towards each other. It's just building up, like, the suspense really well. So had me grinning and giggling. There's a couple of, like, really funny moments. Like, I'll just share one with you that really stood out to me. She said the phrase, like, baby's first mass murder, and it just, like, really got me. Like, it was so funny. I'm gonna, like, use that all the time in my regular life. I have to go to work. My coffee is brewing, and I will talk to you guys hopefully at the end of the day today to let you know how many hours I've read and see if tomorrow can be the last day of my 24-hour timer challenge. Hi, it's Sunday morning, and I did not do a lot of reading yesterday, like, at all. I do have 3 hours left on my 24-hour timer. I have read for 21 hours and 4 minutes. So my plan right now is to finish The Stardust Thief, and I am not going to take 3 hours to do that. So we're gonna have to make a plan after that to see what I need to pick up next. Yeah, yesterday just kind of went by the wayside as far as reading, but that's okay. Wow, amazing. I just finished my 24-hour timer. I feel like I read a lot in this 24 hours. It's my first time ever doing the 24-hour challenge this way. I've done reading when it is like a 24-hour, like, literal midnight to midnight challenge, and then I've also done weekend challenges where I've done like 12 hours on a Saturday, 12 hours on a Sunday. Never done it this way before, and it was really fun. I definitely think, like, I could have focused up a little harder, especially over the weekend, to, like, really not take as many days to finish this challenge. It took me 6 days, and I was really, like, on par during the work week, which is hilarious. That's, like, when I'm more busy. But I think at the beginning of the challenge, I was making maybe more of, like, a conscious effort to, like, every moment that I was free, like driving and doing chores, that I would be listening to an audiobook, or I was just more conscious about it. And then especially, so today is Sunday, especially yesterday and on Friday, I did not do a whole lot of reading. I think on Thursday, I showed you a clip, but I didn't get the chance to sit down with you. So I think I had like 5 hours and 45 minutes left at the end of my Thursday, like going into Friday, if I'm remembering correctly. And then it took me until Sunday to get those 5.5 hours done. So let me tell you everything that I read. I ended up finishing Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I believe I was halfway through that book when I last was talking to you about it, and I ended up loving it. I gave Bride 5 stars, and I'm also giving Mate 5 stars. I want to reread Bride soon, but I feel like my favorite is Mate. I prefer that one. Oh my gosh, the romance was so addicting. These two, it was just a very good slow burn. I was incredibly invested in, like, the background plot as well, and there were a lot of crazy reveals. I really love this world that Ali Hazelwood has crafted. I do not read a lot of paranormal romance and have dipped my toe into romantasy over the last 2 years of my reading. So I know that they are different, but I wouldn't have enough knowledge to explain to you like the Venn diagram of what makes them different versus where they overlap in similarity. All that to say, I would love to maybe explore paranormal romances like the werewolves and the vampires and the politics more, because I just found it so entertaining. So I got a 5-star read in this video. The next thing I want to tell you is that earlier this morning I finished The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I knew going in that this book had a lot of elements that I was really going to enjoy, and so I'm giving this a 4-star. I absolutely love the characters and the direction of this plot. There are a handful of reveals and betrayals that go along with a political fantasy like this. Even though I know that they're coming in theory, I just was not expecting half the stuff. There was one thing that I caught and I was like, oop, this is going to come up later, but I didn't know like what the implications of it would be or like what it actually meant. So this book was published in 2022. The sequels just come out in April of this past year, and I want to read the sequel, obviously, but there is a promised third and final book in the trilogy with no announcement date, and it took 3 years between this book and the second one before it came out. And so part of me is like, do I wait to maybe like pick this series back up when there is an announced date for the final? All that to say, I did love this book and will be continuing on in the series. And if you like djinn magic and a multiple POV epic fantasy, pick this up. Okay, the last book that I'll tell you about and round out this wrap up is The Long Game. I think I told you guys that I had started this earlier this week, and I can't remember if I did. I apologize. This is a contemporary romance by Elena Armas, and I did pick this up because it sounded like Ted Lasso. Essentially, this girl works for a men's premier soccer club. She attacks a mascot and then like goes viral and everybody knows about it, and her dad is the owner of the club, or like the GM of the club, and then almost exiles her until all of this blows over. And so she goes to this small town. It's like a charity angle for the club that she works for to give a helping hand to this other team. Turns out the team is a U10 girls soccer team, and it is currently being coached by Cam, our lovely love interest. I am 130 pages into this book. I know that I read Mate via audiobook, but this is my first like physical read of a romance in a long time, and I'm really loving it. It's like grumpy, like both of them are like not very bubbly, happy people, and their stubbornness, they definitely get off on the wrong foot, and I'm kind of getting past those initial interactions now at this point. About a third of the way into the book, they are finally starting to actually talk to each other, and therefore their personalities are coming out a little bit more. I know that I'm gonna love this. Like, it's gonna be a really good, fun time. Like, these books typically aren't my favorite books. They're not gonna be in my top 10 of the year. They're not going to change my life or the way I read. They just don't have that level of impact for me, but oh my gosh, are they entertaining. They are fun, they are escapism, and they are so valuable, and I do pick them up for the vibes. I would love to do this more. Like, every time I pick up a romance book, I'm like, wait, this is so fun, I need to read more romance. So that's how I'm feeling, you know, a third of the way through this book. I am super happy with the way my reading went this week, and I would definitely do this challenge again. My only qualm is the actual physical keeping track of my reading, and starting and stopping the timer was incredibly inconvenient. Something I noticed is that I would be reading or listening to my audiobook and I would have not started my timer, or I will pause my book and put it down and I forget to stop the timer. That was incredibly annoying. It's just not the way I read, and so yeah. I think in the end I did a good job as like actually getting that full 24 hours, because then I would, you know, offset. In this 24 hours, I finished 4 books. I read the last 50 pages of Their Vicious Games. I read the last 210 pages of Interesting Facts About Space. I started and finished The Stardust Thief and Mate, and then I read 130 pages of The Long Game. All of those pages totaled together is 1,289. So that is the amount of pages that I was able to read in my 24-hour time period. I love challenge videos, so if you have other ideas for challenges that I can do, I would greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like other bookish content like this, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to link in the description my playlist for all the other bookish challenges that I have done on my channel, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week. I will see you in the next video. Bye.